Horshe Tuhi Ka'at Lashanka Ka'at Ra'at Corrina. Good day, my name is Corrina Gould, and I am the spokesperson and tribal chair for the Confederated Villages of Lashan. Today we sit at UC Berkeley, one of the traditional homelands of our territory. UC Berkeley sits on Huichin territory, a place that my ancestors have been since the beginning of time. Huichin encompasses 6 Bay Area cities: Oakland, Alameda, Berkeley, Emeryville, Albany, and Piedmont. We welcome you today to be a part of this wonderful conversation. We hope that your eyes and ears and heart opens up to new and amazing possibilities. We thank you for our time. We ask that you work with the Confederated Villages of Lashan to create reciprocity and awareness throughout our territories.
The oldest Model UN conference in the world, BMUN was founded in 1952 by a small group of students at UC Berkeley. For 69 years, BMUN has upheld their legacy through thick and thin. Today, the BMUN Secretariat continues to orchestrate one of the largest Model United Nations conferences in the world, bolstered by our educational mission and outreach initiatives. Though we won't be at the beautiful Berkeley campus this weekend, the revered university spirit is indelibly linked to BMUN and to our conference experience. We hope that this weekend you engage critically with the material that your incredible chairs have prepared for you. Be ready to challenge others in their positions and challenge yourself as well. Welcome to BMUN 69. We're so excited this year to announce our conference theme, Uplifting Marginalized Voices, and our conference cause, the Rafiki Coalition. This year, we are honored to welcome an inspiring slate of guest speakers, and we hope you enjoy their candor and wisdom. Without further ado, I'm going to pass it off to our Secretariat member, Nishitha, to introduce our conference cause.
My name is Nishitha Shetty, and I am this year's Deputy of Philanthropy at BMUN 69. For the past couple of months, I, along with the Secretariat, have been working to establish a partnership with the Rafiki Coalition, who is our conference cause for this year. The Rafiki Coalition is a nonprofit located in the Bayview Hunters Point district in San Francisco. The work that they do is incredibly important because of the marginalized communities that exist in this area of San Francisco. Residents of this neighborhood have an average life expectancy that is 14 years shorter than their counterparts in other wealthier neighborhoods such as Russian Hill. The Rafiki Coalition's mission is to eliminate health inequities in San Francisco's Black and marginalized communities through education, advocacy, and by providing holistic health and wellness services in a culturally affirming environment. The Rafiki Coalition strives to achieve its focus by providing these health and wellness services, including, but not limited to, health education, movement classes, health screenings, advocacy, transitional housing, and case management services for people with HIV and AIDS, trauma resiliency, mental health circles, and other health promoting activities. Their overall goal is to create a new vision of San Francisco, where health disparities among African Americans and other marginalized communities have been eliminated, and HIV and AIDS are diseases of the distant past. They are a unique resource for San Francisco's underserved communities because they have such a holistic and integrated approach to wellness. Within the last year only, they have served over 4,000 individuals in this Bayview neighborhood, making them an incredibly impactful organization. The Rafiki Coalition has many opportunities for people to engage with their community work. Not only are you already taking part in this by simply being at this opening ceremony, listening to the speech, and engaging with the narrative that we have set here and worked so hard to implement through conference weekend, but you can also take a step further and either donate through your diocese throughout the weekend or visit RafikiCoalition.org so you can find out how you can further advocate for these marginalized narratives, posting on social media or speaking to your friends about this, or even volunteering with the Rafiki Coalition if you're located in the Bay Area. They're always looking for volunteers, and they have several opportunities, most of them bi-monthly or even weekly. So I'd absolutely encourage you to go to RafikiCoalition.org to check out more information on what they do and how you can get involved. The work that they do is incredibly important always, but now in this era of COVID, where marginalized communities have been hit harder than any other group in the United States, it is all of our duty to kind of do the work that we can to help these people. The Rafiki Coalition is a great example of a narrative that we all should keep in mind and uplift every single day. The work that they do is so incredibly important and so impactful to the community that not just exists in the Bay Area, but the larger community throughout the world. I hope you keep this narrative in mind, but not just this weekend, but every day that you take after conference. We hope that you have a great time in committee, you keep these things in mind, you adapt the open mindset that your chairs really want you to have when debating your topics, but keep that educational mindset outside of conference. Have a great time. We as a secretariat have worked really hard to create these partnerships and conference, and really hope that you come out of this weekend feeling like you've really taken away something, that you've really learned something.
Our next speaker is Janet Wang, a co-host for AsianBossGirl podcast, who looks to uplift her and her co-host experience as female POC in the media. On their podcast, Janet uses her voice to normalize a range of experiences and hopes her audience feels more secure in their identity through their work. She shares her insights on how to use your conference experience as a way to grow and prepare for your future.
Hi everyone, it's Janet. I am one of 3 co-hosts of ABG, Asian Boss Girl, a podcast for the modern day Asian American woman, where we have conversations about topics ranging from our careers, to our culture, to dating, to current events, and anything else that our community of ABGs and ABBs want us to talk about. We are so honored to be a part of the 69th session of BMUN's opening ceremony. Wow, that is so many sessions that have already happened before us. And we absolutely love that this year's theme is about uplifting marginalized narratives. As a platform that started by sharing our own personal narratives that we do not see and hear very often in media, this is a message that we deeply resonate with. And this past year, we were able to share our podcast and platform with other amazing Asian American female voices. Asian boss girls like Leah Yu, who founded and runs her own international skincare brand, Drashti Gandhi, who is a manager in the People Advisory Services consulting arm at Ernst & Young, Hei-Soo Jo, who is an LMFT and the clinical operations lead at BetterHelp, one of the largest online counseling services, and so many more. And we know that a huge part of why these women are so successful is because of the opportunity for professional development. Skills like public speaking, negotiating, and thorough research, all of which MUN competitions help to sharpen. As someone who has personally career switched multiple times and into various different types of industries, I can tell you that these skills are the basis of success, no matter what type of job or industry or goal you have in this world. So today, I want to commend you for your involvement in Model United Nations and know that you are already on the path to working towards your greatest potential to do amazing work in this world, no matter what type of work that ends up being. I wish you all the best this year and beyond.
Our next speaker is Melody Cheng, another co-host for the Asian Boss Girl podcast. In her work in film production, marketing, and talent management, Melody utilizes her past experiences as a base to grow in her endeavors. She hopes that others seeking success in their future do so with confidence and encourages you all to take the initiative to forge your own path.
Hi everyone, it's Mel from Asian Boss Girl, the podcast, and I feel so fortunate to be speaking here at BMUN's 69th session. First off, can I applaud everyone here for taking initiative to begin the work at such a young age. Last year felt like a reckoning when it came to unpackaging and addressing the world's unjust systems. Unlike many of you, there are people who are starting to do the work today in their 30s, so it's amazing you're being proactive now. The future is going to need people like you. This year's theme of uplifting marginalized narratives seems so fitting with everything going on in this world, and this is a mission here also at Asian Boss Girl, the podcast. For my fellow females in the crowd, I realized how important and powerful it was to hear other stories of women in the creative industry to know that this is a career I could pursue for myself. There are times when you don't see faces like yours, you wonder if this is even an option for me. But I'm here to tell you that it is, and you have multiple options. Sometimes the career you want may not even exist because you're the one that's going to create it. In a lot of my roles, I was the first female in them, and I did not let that fear stop me from moving ahead. So as you all continue on this journey with your professional development, I hope you remember that you do have options and that you can land your dream job with a bit of mix of hard work, luck, and passion. So good luck, everyone, and have a great conference.
A big thank you to Corrina, Janet, and Mel for those amazing insights. Our next speaker is Helen, who's another co-host of the AsianBossGirl podcast. Helen has experience in multiple professional fields, but her true calling is using her voice to speak up for the Asian American community and represent its diversity on multiple media platforms. Please give a warm welcome to Helen Wu and a round of applause to all of our speakers today.
Hi everyone, it's Helen here from AsianBossGirl, and I hope you are excited for BMUN's 69th session. That is almost 7 decades, and you are now part of that long-lived tradition. I am excited for this year's theme of uplifting marginalized narratives because at AsianBossGirl, that is exactly what we're trying to do, to uplift the stories and the narratives of our community. And as someone who was and still is sometimes deathly afraid of public speaking, I want you to send across the message that if you're in that boat and your voice trembles when you're on that stage under pressure, trust that you belong there. Trust that your narrative and your story and what you have to say is important, and know that you are evolving as a human going through this experience. And if you trust this process, you will continue to strengthen your voice and your opinions, I promise. I get full-on sweats when I'm on stage because of how nerve-wracking it is. And if you're someone like me, it is a full-on battle mentally with yourself. But it's going to get easier and easier if you focus on the message that you want to get across. And you will realize your potential in public speaking and policy debate. I wish you all the best, and I am so proud of you for showing up today.
It is my distinct honor to introduce the Mayor of Berkeley, Jesse Arreguin. Mayor Arreguin has spent his entire life fighting for social and economic justice and delivering results for the Berkeley community. He was elected mayor in 2016 and re-elected in 2020, becoming the first Latino and the youngest person in nearly a century elected to that office. As Berkeley mayor, Jesse Arreguin has made addressing homelessness, affordable housing, improving infrastructure, and educational opportunities his top priorities. As an organization, BMUN has operated out of the Berkeley community for nearly 70 years, so we are very grateful for the opportunity to work alongside Mayor Arreguin.
Hello, this is Berkeley Mayor Jesse Arreguin. I want to thank the Berkeley Model United Nations for hosting this unique virtual event. As we know, Berkeley is an international city. We're not just home to one of the best universities in the world, UC Berkeley, but also home to the Berkeley Lab, which is a major world-renowned research institution. And so every year, thousands of people come from across the globe to Berkeley and make this city their home. Our city also has been at the forefront of advocating for social change, not just in the United States, but throughout the world. We think globally and we act locally. And so the work of Berkeley Model UN in raising greater awareness of the international community and fostering stronger international relations is so important. And it comes at a critical time as our planet is facing a global pandemic and a climate emergency. We know that COVID-19 has shown the racial and economic disparities that exist in all levels of our society. And it's not just COVID-19 that has disproportionately impacted underserved communities, but virtually every issue that we face as a planet. A climate emergency, educational disparities, access to jobs and housing. As mayor of the city of Berkeley, I have made addressing systemic racism and advancing racial equity a top priority, not just in the laws that we pass, but in the programs that we implement, and closing the divide of opportunity that exists in our city. And we must make sure that marginalized voices have a seat at the table. These are issues that won't be solved overnight, but that is why it is so important for you to be engaged as leaders of today, and I'm so inspired by the activism of young people and people like you. You already know the importance of helping those in need and in listening to those voices that have been ignored. And by continuing to do that, we will make a difference. So thank you, Berkeley Model UN.
A sincere thanks to our wonderful guest speakers from the AsianBossGirl podcast, Mayor Arreguin, and finally Nishitha, who presented about our wonderful conference cause, the Rafiki Coalition. Their work and insight that they provide into these key societal issues are truly invaluable, and I believe exemplify the theme that we hope to put forward at BMUN this year. Welcome everyone to BMUN 69. My name is Ashwin Srikanth and I have the honor and privilege of serving as this year's Secretary General. It's certainly an interesting time to be having a Model UN conference, not the least because of the unique situation that many of us have been placed in. The events of the past year have laid bare systemic inequities and global public health concerns that extend not only across the world, but also into our own communities. Today, it's more important than ever to unify, to uphold constructive discourse, and to envision a future without the challenges that plague us as one humankind. For the better part of a century, this has been one of the key missions of BMUN. And even though circumstances have forced us apart, BMUN continues to offer a unique experience where thousands of delegates can learn to conquer fears of public speaking, learn the value of diplomacy, and ultimately contextualize themselves and the issues they debate within the greater geopolitical landscape. And I really think there is no other place to reflect on these global and societal issues than at BMUN. Here, we hope you engage with perspectives that aren't your own, learn about communities and cultures that you may never have heard of before. We at BMUN hope to provide you with an experience and an exercise in the most important aspect of diplomacy: empathy. In a time of deep polarization, where we've seen an alarming rise in populism, and where discussions so easily turn into heated arguments and hatred, these skills remain absolutely invaluable. But absorbing, analyzing, and debating these topics and others' ideas requires you to examine your own and to be deliberate. It is truly no simple task. But delegates, what you have before you this weekend is a truly incredible opportunity, whether we're online or not. But as much as your chairs and your peers are here to support you, you must make that first step. And I know how difficult it is to ask that first question or to make that first speech, but trust me, hitting that unmute button and letting your voice be heard is the most brave thing you can do, and it will only be applauded at BMUN. The prospect of criticism is daunting, yes, but it's impractical to let a fear of failure or comparison hinder your progress, because at the end of the day, it is impossible to progress, to have a voice, to succeed without accepting the risk of failure or the risk of criticism. Again, it is with deepest pride and greatest pleasure that I serve as this year's Secretary General of Berkeley Model United Nations 69th session. We, the Secretariat, admire your dedication both to your peers, to your teachers, and to the global community, and are so excited to see the work that you put forward this weekend. And with that, it is my greatest honor to officially open debate for BMUN's 69th session.